I could take that.
It's the one that there's one launches by Gilson.
Sure.
Yeah. The breeze. It's the one that launches. Or is it a different one? Okay. No, that's okay. I did my own little research. Okay. I'll share with you. You're essentially about to be Gilson.
Yeah, but anyway, I want to say
Bacteria test. You seem to have a high age.
yeah,
Okay.
right.
Yes. Yeah, no, I know, but I think they're expensive.
I know they are.
Okay.
I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
But it's also spread over 8 years.
Yeah, no, it looks like it's a partnership. Yeah, a few different hospitals. Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and start with the announcements. For those watching tonight's meeting virtually, this meeting is available to live stream by the Park District website. All information about Park District meetings can be found at winpark.org under the Park District Info tab by selecting board meetings and videos. Public comment is accepted in person. A link to the video and audio will be posted immediately following this evening's meeting. To improve the sound while listening to the meeting, please turn up the volume on your computer and turn up the volume on the website. The meeting packet for tonight's meeting is located on the website. For those attending tonight's meeting, the emergency exits from the room are the door behind you or through the foyer. To improve the quality of the sound, there is a boom microphone directed towards the commissioners. The microphone likely will pick up additional audience noise and sidebar conversations. If it's difficult to hear, please consider moving forward. This is a business meeting, not a sporting event. The board asks for your cooperation to maintain decorum. There's no clapping or booing. Please be considerate and refrain from interrupting board members and other speakers. We're a community coming together to discuss difficult issues in a civil and respectful fashion. May I have I'm calling to order the July 18th, 2024 committee and regular board meeting. Denise, may I have a roll call?
Commissioner James?
Here.
Commissioner Lesson is absent this evening. Commissioner Rapp? Here. Commissioner Root? Here. Commissioner Tyson?
Here.
Commissioner Hemming?
Here.
Commissioner Cotto?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first order of business tonight is a proclamation regarding National Parks and Recreation Month.
Proclamation regarding National Parks and Recreation Month. Whereas parks and recreation services are essential to the health and well-being of our community, offering opportunities for physical activity, social interaction, and connection with nature, and whereas the Winnetka Park District is dedicated to providing high-quality parks, facilities, programs, and services that enhance the quality of life for all residents and visitors, and whereas parks and recreation contribute to the environmental sustainability of our community by preserving green spaces, wildlife habitats, and natural resources. And whereas Parks and Recreation programs foster community spirit, cultural awareness, and civic pride, promoting inclusivity and diversity amongst our residents. And whereas the Winnetka Park District collaborates with local partners, volunteers, and stakeholders to enrich the community through events, initiatives, and educational opportunities that promote health, wellness, and environmental stewardship. And whereas the National Recreation and Park Association, NRPA, serves as an advocate of Parks and Recreation Month and provides leadership, advocacy, and resources to support the efforts of park and recreation professionals and communities nationwide. And whereas National Parks and Recreation Month was recognized by the United States House of Representatives in 2009 in perpetuity for its importance in promoting the value of parks and recreation and enhancing the quality of life of all Americans. And whereas the celebration of National Parks and Recreation Month encourages all residents to explore, enjoy, and support their local parks, facilities, and recreational opportunities. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of the Park Commissioners of the Winnetka Park District hereby proclaims the month of July 2024 as National Parks and Recreation Month in the Winnetka Park District. Be it further resolved that the Board of Park Commissioners encourages all residents to participate in parks and recreation activities, to celebrate the contributions of Parks and Recreation to our community, to thank the dedicated Winnetka Park District employees for their hard work, and to advocate for the continued support and enhancement of parks and recreation services. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the Winnetka Park District to be affixed this 18th of July 2024. Signed, Christina Cotto, President, James Hemmings, Vice President.
Thank you very much. Excellent reading. Do you want a picture?
We absolutely should have a picture. I would like to say too, so National Parks and Recreation Month has been ongoing for a while in this country and across all parks and recreation agencies in all 50 states. And it really is a testament to the hard work that staff puts into the services and amenities that are provided to the residents of their parks and recreation agencies. And also tomorrow, Friday, is also Parks and Recreation Professionals Month, or Professionals Day. So when you see our wonderful staff out and about in the community, please thank them for their hard work and wish them happy Parks and Recreation Professionals Day.
Thank you very much. For the picture, Jeff, your name will Okay, are there any requests for changes or additions to the agenda?
I would just like to remove the vouchers from the consent agenda.
We have a motion to remove the vouchers from the consent agenda. We have a second?
Second.
Just remove them? Fine, okay, perfect. May I have a motion to approve the July 18th agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public comment. This is your opportunity to address the board on any issue. When called upon, please come to the center position in front of the commissioners, stand at the podium, speak loudly, state your name for the record, and speak directly to the board. based on the public comment policy described in the board policy manual and referenced in Public Access Counselor Opinion 2024 PAC 81900. Guests may present public comment for no longer than 3 minutes after being recognized. If you prefer to share your comments in writing this evening, you may do so by leaving them with a member of Park District staff. Please raise your hand if you'd like to speak. Yes, please.
Hi, my name is Melissa Mizell, and I live at 939 Tower Road. I've come this evening because it's come to my attention that Cal Bernstein, who is capacity as a private attorney, represents Mr. Ishbia, is also on the Highland Park Parks Commission. In fact, he's the president of it. And so he is first, Mr. Simon, among those people whose pleasure you serve. Mr. Bernstein's advocacy on behalf of Ishbia, Mr. Ishbia, gives you a really impossible task. You need to offer even-handed, disinterested advice while avoiding this to Winnetka Parks Commissioners, while avoiding the displeasure of your Highland Park boss, I'm going to call him. This can't plausibly be done, and you should at the least recuse yourself from counseling the Parks Commission here on matters where Cal Bernstein is participating, especially as an advocate for another party. This is a really human situation. I think you're in a tough spot, really an impossible spot. If Cal Bernstein were your father-in-law, the public would find it equally difficult to credit the objectivity of your counsel. When a person's situation, whether it's personal or economic, depends on your pleasing someone who's making demands on the people whom you're advising, the opinions you offer simply can't be considered disinterested. That's a problem for the public, and it also should be a problem for the commissioners who are paying for your services. It would be difficult for them to persuade themselves that they're getting full value for your advice in these matters when you do have to make someone else happy. And that's what I have to say.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Susie?
Susie Schreiber, former Park District Commissioner, and someone who has followed activities on the Winnetka Village Green for some period of time. And while I was out of town at the end of June, an email came across that I saw when I returned that related to the playground area of the Winnetka Village Green, which is located at the southeast corner. I believe it's Cedar and what's that, Oak Street. And that is an area that a long time ago, when that playground equipment was proposed to put in, which was under the time I was a commissioner, there was a great deal of discussion from the neighbors and from many people who were concerned that it would have an effect on the oak trees, the root system and drainage, etc. We got over those hurdles and everything, and you have, I think, a very nice playground there that is definitely used by the neighbors and certainly by the village on many occasions when we have events there. The item that came across on my email when I returned indicated that the Winnetka Park District is planning some upgrades on the some of the hard structures of the paving, and it would be the brick area is planned to be replaced. So I did pop over last week and looked at the two little brick areas and did not really see, and nor did the people who were there, who I just inquired, is this a problem with bricks? As they don't look brand new, but they certainly don't look like they're in any danger of hurting anybody. But bricks are considered partially permeable pavement. And it looked like the Winnetka Park District was planning on putting removing those bricks and putting cement in, and I think that is not going to sit well with a number of people in the village, and I would hope that you might consider it. We're not talking about a very big area, and if in fact for any safety reasons the bricks do need replacing, let's keep it permeable. Oak trees are hard to replace when they're as large and dignified as those are. And I would see that this could be taken care of comfortably, and I respectfully ask you to consider this before you go forward. And remember that the village of Winnetka owns the Winnetka Village Green. Thank you.
Thank you, Susie. Steve?
Steve Judison, 1436 Asbury Avenue, Winnetka. It came to my attention that apparently there have been some bad checks written by the Park District. Total return checks, the total amounts of the charges were $9,010.91, of which $222.50 were late fees. I don't know how this is going to get resolved, because I know you don't answer the questions when they're asked at this time. I don't have a document, but maybe it's something you could address separately in an email or something. I just wanted to know, given the fact that we're going to want to spend a lot of money on Elder and Centennial Beach, that kind of a thing, it's not a good look to have $9,000+ in returned, lack of funds for these expenses. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Item number 3 is the consent agenda. Without objection or request for removal, actually we've removed the vouchers, item 3.3. We will act on the following items with a single vote: the committee and regular meeting minutes of June 20th, 2024, and 3.2, the June financials. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
That's a roll call vote.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rapp?
Yes.
Commissioner Root?
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hemmings?
Yes.
Commissioner Proto?
Yes.
That motion passes.
Thank you. We'll now address item 3.3, the vouchers. Hold on just a second. We now will address item 3.3, the vouchers.
President Crowe, if I could address the comment about bad checks.
Yes.
So that is absolutely not the case. What we had was an issue of a fraudulent check that was tried to be cashed to our account, and our bank stopped that. They stopped some other checks in regards to that as well, which have now been reissued and to those vendors that should have gotten them. So there were no issues of bad checks. It was fraudulent activity that the bank stopped that has now been corrected.
Thanks. I think there was also an absorption of some of the bad check fees.
Yes, the bank has agreed to pay those fees.
Thank you very much. Okay. Cynthia, did you have questions on vouchers?
Okay, yes. Related to the same topic, I tried to match this stuff, but really I lost the diligence that it would require because it seems very complicated. And I just wanted to check with Jim and with Jeff that you guys feel completely confident that we're not going to end up paying someone twice as a result of the process, and that at the end when we total everything up, it'll all be right. Because I know when I looked at the vouchers, some of the checks that I believe were impacted still had the old date, but I believe that they've been reissued. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys both felt confident that we were paying out the right amount, that the cash going out was all going to work out, and the tracking business.
So first, yeah, Jim, thank you.
Cynthia, to answer your question, I sat down with Jeff each week and went through line by line to identify which ones had been returned. We got those back from the vendors, and then we would reissue a check for the same dollar amount. In a case where a return check fee was assessed, we would pay that fee, and then we were being reimbursed by the bank So, yes, it's lined up dollar for dollar, and while the voucher list may not necessarily reflect that, Commissioner Tyson and myself have gone through it and been very diligent about making sure that every return check has been reissued, and that we're not duplicating payments.
Okay.
Thanks, Jim.
And I had an opportunity in the review to actually go back, and every time Jim would highlight for me before the meeting, he would say, here are all checks where we had an issue, and I would have an opportunity to go back and find the original issued check, make sure that the amounts matched up. If they didn't match up, Jim and I had a conversation about it. He was able to explain the situation.
Any other questions regarding vouchers?
Just, and then when we get our bank statement, then we'll cross-check that with checks. I mean, I guess the bank at this point has been overly cautious on not allowing payment on any of our affected checks, but.
Yes, and the bank has actually required us to institute a new fraud prevention policy, and they're doing it with most of their vendors, from what I understand, because fraudulent checks are becoming so sophisticated it's hard to differentiate them from real checks. So we are now proactively uploading each check to the bank so they know whether to honor a check that's been presented or not. So we are in effect giving them the authority to approve only the checks that we're giving them. Anything else will be automatically rejected. So.
Excellent, it's amazing, thank you so much. Sorry that it's been a big pain to deal with, but we appreciate it.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the vouchers, item 3.3?
So
A second?
Second.
Thank you. Denise, that's a roll call.
Commissioner Rapp?
Yes.
Commissioner Root?
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hemmings?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Toto?
Yes.
That motion passes.
Thank you. All right, item 4, presentations. Winnetka Parks Foundation Annual Plan. We have PK Wilson with us. He's going to go through this. I think we have 10 minutes. I think we have 10 minutes for the presentation and then a few minutes for questions.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm PK Wilson. I'm the new president of the Winnetka Parks Foundation. We just finished our annual plan, and we'll just pop through it real quick. Our biggest goals are, again, let people know that we exist. We are still relatively new, and we are still a relatively small board, so we're going to try to recruit too, but we'll get to that. Number 2 is establish our strengths with partnerships within the community, even, try perhaps more corporate sponsorships on some of our bigger events that we're planning. Really reach out and make this a bigger foundation than it has been in the past. Which leads me to number 3, which is to raise a minimum of $5,000 per voting director, which is a big goal. And so again, we are going to recruit. We've recruited Gina Gooden, who I'm sure a lot of people know in here, who is the fundraising queen of Winnetka, and she's now the vice president. So I'm really excited that we're going to get some events rolling this upcoming year. Okay, look, I have control. So our outreach opportunities are going to be in July and August. We've got some stuff already in the coming out in July, August brochure.
So in our new activity guide that is just about to go out this week, so we will have, there's an event in there planned for September 13th, my birthday, for a golf tournament at the golf course. And then we also, the foundation also has planned for the winter season a holiday skate at the ice rink, and then a tennis tournament in the spring.
Yes. So, that'll go out in the upcoming brochure, right? Okay. And that'll be really exciting. I've actually got a meeting scheduled with Miles next Tuesday, so we'll get the golf tournament. I don't think we've ever done one for Winnetka, so we're excited. That just as it's opening, so that should be fun. And then, again, the fundraising initiatives, I've gone over this, special events and sponsorships, some giving campaigns, any grant applications that we could work towards. If you have anything to add on that, Shannon, or Administrator
again, with fundraising initiatives for the foundation, the board of directors have indicated that they really want to focus on events and getting sponsorships for those events, and different giving campaigns, like an annual holiday giving campaign, end of year type thing. And then also that the foundation being a 501c3, they can assist with grant applications that are only available for 501c3 organizations.
Thank you. Marketing and community engagement, social media campaigns for sure. I know we have Facebook. I don't think we have Instagram yet, so we're going to work more to get more of the word out. Even the stuff that everybody seems to know about. Sometimes you run into people that actually don't know that it's every Wednesday in the woods. So that would be a great thing to follow up on. Email newsletters. We talked about getting those out more often. More community outreach, farmers market, that sort of thing. Maybe getting a table at Wednesday in the Woods, selling beverages, that sort of thing. Again, our board is very small right now, so if anybody listening who would like to join the fundraising efforts for the Park District, please let me know. We are currently looking for people. And then recognition programs. I'm not sure which ones we decided.
Not yet. As far as recognition programs, looking at recruitment first for the board of directors for the foundation is highly focused on recruitment efforts for the foundation to bring in more directors. And then at that point, the foundation would be able to look at more volunteer recognition type activities to keep people engaged throughout the year.
So that's our current plan, and hopefully we can raise some money for the Park District.
Does anybody have any questions?
This is on. Okay, first of all, as busy as you are, thank you so much for coming this evening. Question for you. Have you received any donations that have any restriction on them, any restrictive donations?
I know there are some donations. Jim would probably be best to answer this, but I know that there are some donations, that have been restricted. I would have to look to know this year if we have received any that are directly restricted, or if Jim can answer.
To answer your question, Commissioner, we've not received any restricted donations so far this year. Historically, we have a number, but this year, none.
Okay, thank you.
I'm so excited about this team. I just wanted to suggest that, I know when we first moved here, there used to be like a letter, demand letter, but it could probably be an email just asking for donations for things like to support the fireworks. And I feel like that was pretty effective. I mean, you could probably see in the financials. I mean, I want to say like 20, it was not insignificant relative to the effort. So we just,
Yeah, but everybody loves the fireworks. That's not
you might want to
reignite
think
that.
about, like putting out a specific ask for something that people really enjoy, that and a lot of small contributions can add up to a lot, because I think it would help build your email list and also foster a lot of engagement. And then people, when they go to the fireworks, as an example, but you could say this about any of our events, Fall Fest or Beach Cleanup, or a lot of things that bring the community together, that they feel good about.
That's a great idea.
Because they've contributed, but they also feel good about it because our park district does an amazing job putting it on. So,
absolutely, that's a great idea. I think that's something we could definitely talk about.
Thank you. I'd just like to reiterate what PK said. If anybody's listening that wants to get involved, please do. It's a fantastic organization, and I'll tell you, the team that's there right now is amazing. I've had the pleasure of sitting in on their meetings for the last couple of years. Really excited what you're bringing this year, PK, to the team. You guys are really on top of things, and it's amazing to watch. And I'm excited for the year for you all, and hopefully we can help.
Thank you.
I just have one question. How big do you want your board to get? What's your ideal size?
We have a limit on it. I know that.
We can have up to 20.
Which is huge. Maybe a lot of cooks in the kitchen, but I don't know. I mean, It's a big town, lots of young hands, right? So, all
Good.
right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Item number 4.2 will be our friends from Kemper in their presentation. Thank you, Miles.
Good evening, everybody. Exciting times coming. Obviously, reopening here soon. Beautiful day outside. No rain, sunshine. Much welcome. So just to give you some updates, the golf course construction punch list. All punch list items are completed or about to be completed. Bridge is going into tomorrow.
The superstructure is good.
Yes. On number 2, stair covering options are final options have been reviewed. Those are going to be on order tomorrow. So those will be installed before we reopen. Golf course, we're maintaining normal standards, lowering mow heights as we can get out there to mow the rain we've had. And then Andrew and his team are working on defining the detail areas of the golf course. And then the exciting news for this week is the cart fleet arrived on Tuesday morning. So brand new 65 electric golf carts with GPS. The setup on that has been ongoing. So I'm going to hand it over to Andrew to talk about it.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Exciting stuff going on out there on the golf course. Golf course is looking great. Really performing the way it should. We've had a really easy summer, if I could kind of say that. We've had a lot of cool days and cool nights and not high temperatures. So golf course is doing great. We're on schedule to open on time. So it really every day for us is monumental day. We're checking boxes, checking things off the list every day. It's really things that have been on my list for better parts of 8 months. Like, all right, we got to wait until a couple weeks out before we open to get these things done. We're starting to really cross these off. So I'm really excited seeing things come together. Golf course really kind of feels like a golf course. Everything's being maintained now. We're going to be lowering heights on greens again next week. Tees and fairways will maintain at the same height they're at right now, and we will be working on the rough over the next month to bring it down to the desired height upon opening. We're going to maintain that. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys and for you all throughout this process, and it's been a long time coming, and the product that's coming out is definitely a product to be proud of for years to come. Everything, we've been mowing and rolling and top dressing and fertilizing and spraying plant health protectants and taking care of pest weeds and insects and everything. Just looking forward to the next month and getting there. So glad to be here, glad to be in this position, and look forward to seeing you guys out here come August 12th.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions?
Couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
So we've had some really intense rains in the past week plus. I understand that the golf course has held some water on the north side. And my understanding is that is a function of a weir that was installed in the wrong height. What actions are being taken to lower the weir so that we're not holding water?
The actions I believe we've come up with 3 proposals, and to get that, bring the weir down 10 inches to the height it needs to be at for the golf course to drain properly.
Is there a reason why we didn't act immediately, recognizing the height of the weir was too high?
This was brought to everybody's attention in December. working towards, getting it revamped.
Vince?
Yeah, I think we've been working with Costa and his team to get this weir lowered to an appropriate height.
What dollar amount are we talking about?
$20,200 and some odd dollars. And we're going to have the work scheduled for next week. Already we adopted the contract. We're moving forward. We want to make sure we followed up with the correct policies and make sure that we're looking to make sure we don't double or overstep our reach in regards to our purchase policy. So we're waiting on one last bidder who did not submit their proposal as they anticipated. So they're non-responsive. So we're moving forward with the Mayo Brothers who initially installed it and will be completing that work for us next week.
I appreciate the commitment to getting 3 bids. But I would also need to acknowledge that the risk to the golf course is much greater than $20,000. So knowing that this work, knowing that this division is out there, knowing that we had to commit resources to mechanically evacuate water to protect the grass, I'm glad it got done. But there is a reason why we have latitude amongst staff to take immediate action when necessary. And below the $30,000 threshold, I would suggest that it's well within your purview. Appreciate the 3-bid policy, but the downside risk was much greater than that in the cost of the rear adjustment. So let's protect the investment that we've made. Let's make sure we don't get unnecessarily delayed or opening and then continuing to operate the golf course.
Thanks, Andrew.
Becker, the new general manager at Winnetka Golf Club. I'm excited to talk about the reopening as we're just a few short weeks away. We are going to be reopening the golf course on Monday, August 12th. So as we reopen, there's a few changes that I'd like to mention. We've done some water retention work, including a new water feature on 18 that you can see behind me. We've also done reshaping of the fairways throughout the entire golf course. We've also reseeded and re-grassed our tees, greens, and fairways. Part of our reopening is we're going to be unveiling a brand new fleet of electric golf carts, complete with GPS. Another part of our renovation process is new bunkers throughout the golf course, including new drainage and new sand. As part of our commitment to environmental stewardship, we've also developed new native areas throughout the golf course and wildlife areas as well. This project was the culmination of the efforts of the Village of Winnetka, the Winnetka Park District, Kemper Sports, and many others. On August 12th, we look forward to hosting you for a grand reopening event, complete with ribbon cutting and ceremonial tee shots, followed by a limited field shotgun scramble event. Normal tee times will begin on August 13th, with residents having priority booking. Tee times can be booked through our website. We look forward to welcoming you back to Winnetka Golf Club as we reopen the 18 and 9-hole golf courses.
So 3.5 weeks. So that video will be going out tomorrow. So we do have the opening event on August 12th. So that, we said it's a limited field event. It's going to be open to Winnetka residents. The invitation to that event will be going out tomorrow. So all the Winnetka residents, they will be able to sign up starting on Monday. So look forward to hosting a full field of them out to be able to show off the new golf course that we have. To touch on our marketing update, for the driving range, we've had a few Callaway fittings. We're still doing 2 a month. Had one last week that was very successful with 6 participants. We have another one scheduled for next Wednesday. Last time I checked, we had 4 signed up already. So those are successful. Discover Golf, we have been sending social media posts out that are going to link back to the Winnetka Golf Club website. Sign up has been strong on that. We have 36 participants in the Discover Golf Junior program this week. Grand reopening. So as I said, the video you just saw is going to go out tomorrow. We also have a newsletter that will touch on things like the new logo, new golf carts, et cetera, that will also be going out. Along with the press release to the Chicagoland media. And then again, Winnetka residents can RSVP beginning on Monday. Tee times for daily play are going to start on August 13th, that Tuesday. Residents will be able to book 14 days out starting on July 30th, and non-residents can start booking 10 days out on August 3rd. We have drone footage scheduled for next week. They'll be doing some hole flyovers The promo video you just watched, they'll be taking some still photography for us for the website and other promo material. And then advertising, we're going to have some pay-per-click and paid social campaigns going out here starting tomorrow and next week. Those will actually be going out to residents and non-residents. Then we do have a print ad this month in the Chicago District Buffer magazine. And you can see web traffic last month was up. People were ready. They're excited to get out into the golf course. So as I said, the new golf cart was delivered. The new golf cart fleet was delivered on Tuesday. That's at the end.
Yeah, just a fun fact, the new golf carts were delivered, the old golf carts were picked up. Rolling R, the Park District did sell those old golf carts to Rolling R. They have sent a check, it has not arrived yet. But fun fact of the week, I was playing golf at North Shore this Monday event, and I get in my golf carts, and it's red with a Rolling R sticker. So they put those golf carts to good use. I rode in one for 18 holes, and so did Barry Kate. So we knew exactly where they came from. So fun fact of the week. The state and local liquor licenses have been approved. The local liquor license was approved back in June. We did go for an amendment recently to extend the hours to allow us to have beverage card service and to allow alcohol that was purchased inside the clubhouse to be brought outside. The restrictions on the liquor license that would not allow some of those things to happen. Happy to say that the hours are extended until 10 o'clock. We do have the ability to have beverage card service on the golf course and alcohol inside the clubhouse onto the golf course as well. All very common asks of a golf course, and other than moving the time up earlier in the day, everything was I think smooth and went well. So I know Miles is working with our liquor vendors, has been for some time. We felt it was best to actually get the liquor license first before going back and asking for an amendment, which actually worked out very well. So Miles is in the final stages of staff hiring and preparation on the menu and so forth. So I'll let you continue.
Yeah, so meeting with vendors on liquor and beer as well as food. Already has some food coming in, and beverages, and beers on order. Staff hiring has been taking place, just working to fill out the team, working on getting the food and beverage staff hired particularly. And then our frequent fairway program, so we've seen 20 stamps year to date redeemed. We do expect that to increase significantly once we reopen. And then financial update. So month-to-date revenue actually came in at $68,367. That was based on preliminaries, being a little bit of revenue that came in after. On a budget of $80,900, I had actually a little bit less revenue in group golf instruction and merchandise sales in June. Year-to-date actual, though, brings us at $276,700 on a budget of $253,000. Cost of sales were $1,682 on a budget of $79,000. Again, that was lack of sales, and our cost of sales percentage was a little bit lower than budget. So year-to-date actual is just over a quarter. Payroll expenses came in right at budget. We're using staff now to prep the golf course, and the driving range is busy. So that payroll has been used. We are still under year-to-date. Year-to-date actual of $317 on a budget of $369.7. Operating expenses did come in under budget. We had $11,000 in water savings in the month. So year-to-date savings at $238.7 on a budget of $394.5. So our EBITDA for the last month was negative 71 on a budget of negative 74.7, bringing our year-to-date total to negative 284 on a budget of negative 527, and then 14.9 was spent last month on capital. We do have more expenses that will be moved over into July. So net income came in at negative 93.6 on a budget of negative 292. Again, water came in $11,000 favorable to budget. We did come in over budget on some seed and tree work. We did have a few large trees that came down on the storms at the beginning of the month, so those were removed professionally. And then range revenues surpassed budget by $6.6 thousand. golf shop payroll did come in a little bit over budget due to range coverage, but we had some savings on range payroll, helped offset that. And then G&A expenses were $2,000 favorable to budget last month as well. So any questions?
So back to that last slide. You pull out that financials. You missed the punchline. You're to the good at $550,000. That's the punchline. You guys should lead with that. That's outstanding.
I'll flip it next.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. Everybody should know that. When we negotiated the closure, we knew that this was going to be a costly endeavor. You guys have done an outstanding job of generating revenue, minimizing expenses, mitigating losses. Thank you.
We're excited to see the parentheses go away.
Yes.
And welcome all the new golfers and the returning golfers.
But just for perspective, we generally operated at a $300,000 a year loss while open, and so this is much better.
Yeah. And year-to-date expenditures on water is still zero? Zero.
Nice.
All right. That was part of the plan.
Yeah.
Great job.
It was a $40,000 month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On Monday,
Yes.
for the tee times, what time does the system go live?
Have
With
a
our
s-
camp registrations, usually, like at 9 o'clock, you can register for camp.
Yeah, that'll be on the email they receive. It'll be 8 a.m. is when we'll have that.
8 o'clock
Yeah,
on Monday?
registration will open
Okay.
at 8 a.m. for them. And then typically tea times, once the tea times open up, we'll have that start at 6.
You know what, you're not understanding my question. When does the online registration system open up for people to book their tee times?
But for residents,
For
July
residents.
30th,
But what time?
6 a.m.
6 a.m.
6 a.m. on July 30th.
Okay.
Yes.
And I think it's important to note that we've had a lot of questions on permanent tee times and annual passes and such. We're going to hold off on permanent tee times and annual passes until, and we look at that for 2025, simply because of the shortened season of August, September, and hopefully all of October. Yes, sir.
I saw Medina was featured on the cover of the CDGA magazine with their grand reopening, number 3. Can we get on there next month?
We will check. We do have an article coming up, as Miles said, in the next issue, but the cover spots are.
I'm pulling the chain a little bit, but do your best. Thank you.
We do, I can tell you, we do have a spring ad coming out as well as we're working on some editorial for that.
Great.
Next issue.
It's going to be stellar. Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you all in a couple weeks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 5, unfinished business. COSA. Update on Elder and Centennial Park and Beach project.
Christina, thank you. As prepared, there's a memorandum in the packet that outlines both projects, Centennial and Elder. Jim, thank you. As noted in the packet, there is a memorandum that outlines both Centennial Park and Beach project as well as Elder Lane Park and Beach project. I'd like to just hit on a couple of the highlight items of those of that summary. Currently, special use submittal, we're looking to get that into the village tomorrow by end of day. We wanted to make sure with our submittal that we had our final plans set, and we were due to receive those from Matt tomorrow, so we wanted to make sure that the submittal was complete. So this way it will be the final submittal to the village and hopefully no round 3 at this time. Based on some early conversations, and I will say that they're early, we are expecting to get in front of the review boards at some point in September. I did update the Gantt chart accordingly based on the timetable as well as the submittal dates for the different boards and bodies. So that is updated in the Gantt chart as well. Other than the note to date, the final or the 100% cost estimate that we have received to date is $6,555,749. That is without contingency at this point. We did include a 10% contingency, and that will fall once we move forward into the final. I believe Matt has a program to drop down to 5%. But we'll review that once that comes in, and we'll update the board accordingly next month. As we discussed, Elder Lane project, once again, we are working on the special use submittal for the packet. We are anticipating in 70% drawings being delivered on July 26th. So that's literally next Friday. And once we have those, we can finalize a lot of the options and are detailed as far as our submittal based on what we learned from Centennial. So hopefully we can get through a quicker process, knowing what to look for and what they're expecting as far as the village is for that submittal. So as we move forward. One thing to note as well, we still have not received the information that we've been asking for the pipe size, so we're hoping that will come in soon, and then our engineering team can move forward with the size and location as that would tie into the project. The current estimate for Elder, once again without contingency, is $6,870,064. Now, one thing to note, there is approximately $500,000 built in for the stormwater pipe that would carry from manhole 4 at the bulkhead out into the lake through the groin itself. So please note that does include a portion of the stormwater cost for the project. Other than that, I don't really have much else to say at this time, but I would love to field any questions that the board might have.
President Coder, if I could add as well.
Sure.
So I wanted to make note so that the public is clear on the process that we've been going through with the special use permit application process with the village. So we did submit a complete application to the village early April. We received first round of comments back April 22nd, and then we responded to those comments on May 28th. Then we received a second round of comments on June 26th. So and then as Costa mentioned, that we will be submitting our responses back to those comments by tomorrow. So about a 2-week or so period, considering there's a holiday thrown in between there as well. So I just wanted to make sure that that was clear and transparent of the process that we've been going through, to make sure that we are providing the information that the village has requested of us to make sure that they have a complete application.
I like that we're using the information we've gained from Centennial's process to inform the elder parents. Question?
So we've gone through 2 rounds. We've gone through 2 rounds of permit reviews. Were these iterative responses, or are there new issues brought up in the second round of comments?
Costa could probably answer that a little bit better than me. I know that there was a little bit of both.
It was exactly. It was a little bit of both. More description and clarity. Once again, because our initial submittal was with our 70% plans, which weren't entirely completed with engineering and design work, with changes and tweaks that came about. So that's the reason we had to wait to finalize. So some of the engineering questions that were being asked in regards to the final design of the retaining walls, material selections, color finishes, and the things of that nature weren't finalized until the 100% plans. And now we'll have the final plans tomorrow that will make that crystal clear. So there's a lot of updates as it relates to specific items that were asked directly. There is additional information that was asked to help best present the plan, in this case the different aspects of the plan, to the independent boards and those questions that might be seen. So how do you get the best information to the board perspective-wise? And there was questions and comments to help suggest for Park District staff to tweak or adjust the submittal of the application so it would be best read and explained to the boards and bodies. So when it was presented to them, they had a greater understanding of the project in its entirety. So trying to help the Park District in our explanation efforts on our next step as we move forward.
What about the questions regarding additional studies?
There were none in this submittal package. The additional questions as it relates to different studies or some jet probing and other things was suggested for our lakefront construction permit process. So that is independent of the special use process. based on a conversation early on, probably about 3 weeks ago now, Shannon, I believe, we had a conference call with David Schoen and James Bernal of the Village, the Community Development Director, as well as Director of Public Works and Engineering, to review the lakefront construction permit process. Based on that review, they had suggested that their third-party consultants, Baird and Associates, would look for greater findings to help support our improvements, and they can then be better suggested, or in this case, the trustees can be better informed as far as Baird's interpretation of or their opinion of our improvements and how those improvements will help or hinder the community as they're built. So that was the additional request that came about. I believe there's been follow-up discussions on that. We haven't submitted anything for the lakefront construction permit at this time, but it was suggested that we start looking at that process and starting running that parallel with the special use permit process.
Which at this point we have not done yet. We're preparing right now for zoning board of appeals, design review board, plan commission, those committees, which that document that had the additional study requirements on it was specific to the lakefront construction permit process and not these initial committees. So what we are submitting tomorrow does not include any of that document that the village provided us for the lakefront construction permit process, only for the comment process that they're taking us through for this first part of the special use permit application process. Bunch of word salad in there.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes.
Krista, has the village shared with you where they stand on the Strand evaluation for the East Lamecca Stormwater Project? Do we know where that is?
Currently, no. We're still waiting on that information as it relates to the pipe size and any other information that might be gained by their study.
I just wondered where they were because they had said, I thought, that they thought they would have the Elder area complete by the end of July. So do we know where they are on their schedule?
I haven't had an opportunity to contact James Bernal. He's been out of the office. But as it relates to the study itself, we have not heard anything back from them yet.
Yeah, Commissioner, if I could, we have not received any information back on either their process on the study or the pipe size, but you are correct, they did let us know early on that we would have that information early July. We have requested that information and not yet received it.
One other question, do we have dates yet for the various commission hearing dates, zoning, planning, design review for September?
They have their set dates for September. I don't know, Kosa probably knows them off the top of his head, but we have not gotten confirmation of any of those dates yet. We have just been informed that September would be likely based on the comments that they're responding to and what we're submitting tomorrow. So that's still a hope that we'll be able to do that, as they have a time frame that they have to notify the public of things being put on those agendas. So that would be the next fall into line for those meetings.
Thank you.
Of course. Cynthia?
What was the cost difference from the last cost estimates for Centennial?
Centennial will vary just slightly. I don't have the exact number, but I would say within under $100,000. I can get that number for the board and send that out.
Jeff? James? Ed, is there anything you want to say? Okay, thank you very much, Kosta. President, if I could, one more thing. I wanted to make mention also that there is a survey that we've had out at special events, and while talking about the projects. So we've had, the farmers market and different, Wednesdays in the woods, where we've been talking to the public about these projects. And some members of the community have indicated they wanted to complete the information and learn more outside of the events. So we're going to make that information available on our website, so anybody can participate and make sure that they have that information to be able to do that at their leisure. So I just wanted to make that.
Great, okay, thank you. We've already hit a turn. You've already hit a turn.
There were other comments that were made for
You can do it in your,
the second. This is ours.
Go ahead, Colleen.
This will take just a second. It was about the survey.
Sure.
So are we putting the survey on the website, is that what I understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you think we could possibly have a line for comments so that people can also write in their
At
thoughts?
this point, with the survey already being out and already receiving responses, and with the survey, it only allows for one person or one submittal per IP address. So adding additional comments at this time would further
It changes the
it makes
results for the
yeah, it
initial
changes the
respondents.
results because we wouldn't be able to get results on that from people
Comments
that have
first.
already submitted. So if that was the direction of the board, we would just, need to nix the survey as it is now and start over, which would lose any results that we've had.
I was not aware that the board had even discussed the survey. In fact,
It was not a board decision.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not questioning
Yeah.
the decision. I just,
Yeah.
when you
I
said.
am. I would like to question the decision. I think if we're going to put out a survey, the board should have the opportunity to weigh in on survey questions and carefully craft them. I don't think that this is a valid survey, and I think it should be quashed and started over if we even need a survey. That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you.
If we're going to send out a survey, the board should know about it.
If that's the direction of the board, I was working at the direction of the board to work on giving the public more information on the project, but if the board would like to change that direction, I'd be happy to adjust my course.
We obviously have a difference of opinion as to the conduct and the wording in the survey. I only saw the survey for the first time today. I find it simplistic, and I find it out of place given that the board has already approved plans for Elgin Centennial.
The survey and the rollout of On the Horizon was created by the staff. That's a mainstream staff activity. It's a 5-question survey. It was conducted to be an engagement survey at the farmers market together with a video. It's not designed to be a standalone on the website. It's designed to be a survey together with a conversation and a presentation at the farmers market. It's an attempt to engage people. It's an attempt to educate them, and it's a very short survey. Had we known that we would be eventually putting it up on our website, we would have designed a different survey. Is that correct? We've had these conversations.
Yes.
So the survey is out. We have some responses. I'd like to preserve those responses. I believe it's important to generate a robust result.
It
You
is.
said your piece.
It is,
You
but
said your
it
piece.
should also be known that staff received comments that people were propagating that survey with the recommendation to vote no. That was not done by the Park District. That was done by individuals
Correct.
propagating the survey to color the results.
Okay. The survey is out. We're going to continue with the survey, and we're
I
going to
think we
move
should
on.
I think we should take a vote on whether or not to continue the survey, knowing that it's being manipulated.
I don't think that item requires a vote. Item number 6, new business.
May I ask one
quick
I
question.
still have other comments.
Executive Director Dazal, are we going to put the video also on the website so people can see that?
There is, on the website right now, because the video is basically,
Lloyd before and after.
Lloyd before and after, Maple before and after, and
Centennial before.
it's kind of more of a slideshow than a video. But the information that's already on the website, on the Horizon portion of the website, has the information and the images that are a part of that presentation that we've been doing.
I have a follow-up question to Costa's remarks. It's precipitated specifically by Costa's remarks. Costa, when you were responding to the question regarding the pipe size, you used the word pipe size and routing. The routing is as shown on the plan. The routing was discussed and agreed upon back in March of 2022 amongst the village and the park district. And the routing is predicated on the location of the existing infrastructure and the mature trees and the desire of the park district to relocate the storm sewer to the north, away from the mature trees and away from the swim area at Centennial. So was that a misstatement, or are we anticipating that the villages come back with a difference in routing as well as pipe size?
To your comment, Warren, here, the initial one in 2022, that was the one that actually did not reroute for the trees. It was shortly thereafter that we then reinvestigated to reroute against the trees and relocate the discharge and figure out the best way to do that so it was not as impactful to the standing trees. Since then, as part of Strand's engineering process and review, they are looking at all options, not just the location itself as we presented it, but all options, including routing. What does that mean, or what will change? I couldn't tell you. I don't know. But I know Strand is doing a deep dive investigation, trying to figure out all aspects of the southeast stormwater issue, and looking at all options and looking at all different opportunities to correct that issue. So if the routing stays the same, it could very well be. It might change. I don't know. That will be determined based on the study findings that Strand comes back with. But the routing from the breakwater out is what we had proposed, and it is under based on our review, I would suggest what we had came up with was the best route. But I can't say what they might find or not change. I don't know.
As I've said before, the trees aren't going to move.
I think it would be clearer if we had a motion. I'm asking for a motion to keep the survey up on our website with regard to the simple 5-question survey. May I have that motion? So it seems like we do not have that motion. Is there another motion someone would like to make about taking the survey down?
I move that we take the survey down and disregard any results. If we're going to offer a survey, I think it should be discussed. The question should be carefully vetted by this board.
Is there a second?
I second that motion.
That's a roll call vote.
Commissioner Root?
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cummings?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rapp?
Yes.
Commissioner Kodo?
No.
That motion passes.
Item number 6, new business. Hap Road Playground Contract Award Recommendation. Costa.
If I can make one last comment with the last motion, or not motion, but the last previous topic. I crunched some quick numbers here. The estimate change from previous at the 70% drawing, so $6,331,718 is now gone up to $655,749. That is a change of $224,000. So my initial estimate was incorrect, so I apologize, Commissioner Rapp, but I just want to make sure that was noted. The significant change came in the site preparation and change, and the cost for some of the sand fill volumes in the bulkhead costing that were included. So that's the biggest change in that. So I just apologize. I just wanted to note that real quick.
Thank you, Costa. Would you like to move on to the Half Road Playground?
Yes, I apologize, thank you.
That's quite all right.
As presented before and at the last meeting, we went over the particulars of the Half Road Playground. Since then, we were able to get the bids in for that project and review those. With that being said, I'm not going to go through the dates and times and so forth, but we did receive 3 bids for the project, with the lowest coming in from Innovation Landscape as the lowest out from Plainfield, Illinois. Second was D&J from Shorewood, and then the last one came in from Landworks Limited out of Bolingbrook, Illinois, was the highest. That bid tabulation was included in the packet. The total bid came in at $198,362. Our initial anticipated budget for this was $180,000 for the project. Some of the seawall costs came in a little bit higher than we anticipated, and some of the material costs came in a little higher than anticipated. Taking a look at the opportunities and what we could do to try to keep this within budget, we identified a few things as it relates to the project that we can make slight adjustments that are not going to be detrimental to the project or really change the vision of what was presented. Taylor, can you put that up real quick? On the screen in front of you, or up here, you'll notice that this is the oversight plan for the playground itself. The changes that we're presenting were basically 2 ring walls that came about 4 feet off of each side of the seat wall that surrounded the sand pit area. The cost for that, along with the seat that we had built into the corner, as well as some of the other adjustments of the curbing that would have to be pulled in or included, and the stone top change, we looked at an opportunity there of changing that, which brings the overall project down for Innovation Landscapes to $178,817. The second lowest bid, making those exact same changes based on the unit costs that were provided, comes down to $189,154, and for the highest bidder, was brought down to $228,648. There was a question asked in regards to utilizing the play equipment again, as we've done previously, kids around the world. Unfortunately, I think they have a pretty good inventory of 2.5 structures. I reached out to the director for them, and Andrew came back with and said that at this time they were not interested in the playground, but at the same time, we wanted to see if there was an opportunity for somebody else to possibly get a second life on that structure. So you'll see as the next agenda item, we're looking to make our recommendation, or in this case, put together a ordinance for that change. But Commissioner Ramp, I know you had questions on this, so I just want to make sure we've done our due diligence. They're not interested now, but we're also going to keep looking at an opportunity to save that playground. The reason I bring that up is because if we decide to go that route, that could be potentially another cost savings to the job. Staff would be, or a third party could be removing that or dismantling it in a more proper fashion, if you will, with the intent to rebuild it. So that's a variable. But right now, what we're proposing as far as the work for the renovation, we're looking to move forward with the lowest responsible bidder as identified with the changes as noted in the memorandum from July 18th, with Innovation Landscaping not to exceed a budget of $180,000, which was the budgeted item for this playground. We anticipate that cost to come in about $178,817 or less. That's where we're at today. Can I answer any questions the board might have on this topic?
I think your memo was very thorough. Thank you. Jack?
First of all, I apologize for bringing this up at the 11th hour, but is there a possibility of potentially adding an adaptive swing to the playground?
There is. We reached out to the playground manufacturer. We were anticipating if we were to complete that, maybe the cost around $1,000, $1,500. When we did that change over at Dwyer Park, and at Corwin Park, and it was about $917. They suggested to us they would make that change at no additional cost to the park district. So this time it would be a lateral play if we decide to. The one thing I would note is if we remove a belt swing
for the adaptive swing, that is one element that would be gone. So we would have the adaptive swing, single belt swing, and 2 bucket swings. The configuration with the fall zones as it's designed, with the swing set here, you'll see that the fall zones are a lot larger for the belt swings versus the bucket swings that are here, as well as the support for the structure that was picked. The ends cannot hold the weight of the adaptive swing, so we would have to give up the belt swing for the adaptive swing. That would be the choice. We can do that if the board would like to proceed in that route. That's going to be at no change to the cost of the project.
And I should be more educated on the topic, but is an adaptive swing usable by anybody, or is it really very limited in function?
It is. It's a little bit different because basically it's a molded plastic swing that somebody sits in, and then basically there's a harness that comes down to secure them into the swing itself. A lot of times, unfortunately, those swings get misused by certain youths. They'll pile more kids onto them or so forth, but we can't police that, if you will. But it's there for the intended use when those parties come along.
James? Warren?
I'm supportive of the adaptive swing.
Cynthia?
Supportive of the adaptive swing, and I feel like that's just to confirm, if for some reason we get overwhelming feedback that there are not enough belt swings, and it can be easily swapped. So I think it seems like a
It
good.
would be a minimal cost. Belt swings like $270.
Okay, yeah. So
Also supportive of the adaptive swing.
Okay. May I have a motion to accept the bid from Innovation Landscape for the Hab Road playground renovation for a not-to-exceed cost of $180,000?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? Denise, that's a roll call vote.
Commissioner Tyson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hemmings?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rack?
Yes.
Commissioner Root?
Yes.
And Commissioner Toto?
Yes.
That motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 6.2 still pertinent, given that yes? Okay. Consideration of ordinance number 604, Hab Road Playground Disposal of Personal Property.
Christina, thank you. As I kind of suggested before, one of the things that was asked to staff was if there's an opportunity to salvage that equipment. Once again, we looked into that opportunity and reached out to kids around the world, the primary leader in this kind of refurbishment, if you will, and unfortunately, they were not interested. We still have other individuals that we want to reach out to. This would be at no cost to the park district or no financial gain to the park district. The only financial gain would be the reduced cost for the reduction in the bid results for the dismantlement of the playground if a third party came in to dismantle the playground. But to do so, we need to declare the playground surplus equipment. The memorandum dated July 18th, consideration of ordinance number 604 outlines the proposal for that. Once again, our objective would be to find a third party to utilize the equipment and give that as a donation to that third party. But if we are unsuccessful in that endeavor, unfortunately, it would be removed and it would go, we'll try to recycle with what we can and scrap the rest. But just in case we do find a third party, we wanted to issue this ordinance number 604 to allow the transmittal and sale of that property, even though there's not going to be a formal sale, if you will, but more of a donation in this regard.
When would it be removed?
The playground, our timeline is August 15th through November 30th is the timeline for it to construct, and it would probably be right around mid-August we would have that removed once the fencing goes up.
If you don't find another donee, it could possibly make room for it and contain it again, like the last one.
That's a possibility. Like I said, we reached out to a few firms. There is one local municipality, I say local, in the southern Wisconsin region that has bought some of our surplus equipment before that could potentially use it.
Before you scrap it.
Before we scrap it,
Yeah. Give me that tip.
Sure.
Okay. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 604 to declare the current playground equipment at Hack Road Park surplus and allow for its proper disposal? Second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call vote?
Commissioner Hemmings?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rath?
Yes.
Commissioner Root?
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson?
Yes.
Commissioner Koto?
Yes.
That motion passes.
6.3, Nick Corwin Park Irrigation Award Recommendation. Goes to
Christina, thank you. As we presented back in November, the Park District put a $100,000 line item in the Recreation Fund to support 2 irrigation projects. One at Little Duke, which was already completed earlier this year, the cost of $18,600, and the last one that we're presenting tonight was for irrigation system for Nick Corwin Park to have an irrigation system to support the 4 natural soccer fields that are out there that are used by ASYO and the rest of the community. This has been an ongoing discussion for some time. This year has been fantastic with the rain. Other years aren't so generous. Mother Nature holds back a little bit, and usually it's pretty brown out there and it's a little dry. The irrigation system that we're proposing will have enough heads to do the coverage that we need to for the fields and the surrounding areas, which helps with not only grass growth, turf conditions, but also the soil conditions for the play itself. A wetter soil is a softer soil, and that ground out there can be kind of like concrete in the midst of summer. So here we're looking to propose. We did send out a bid for this project, the Trib Local. We had 2 bidders come back. We had Aqua Designs from Rockdale, Illinois, and Halloran and Yalkin Company from Lake Forest submit bids for the project. Halloran provided us a bid for $70,990, and Aqua Designs bid was $47,985 greater than Halloran's bid. We have a great working relationship with Halloran and Yelk. They have done multiple projects for us in the past, the last being Little Duke, but previous to that, the golf course work. Comfortable with the bidder. With the 2 bids that have been received, we'd be looking for the park board to award the contract of Halloran and Yelk with a 5% contingency not to exceed $74,539.50. The reason we put the 5% contingency in there is with the electrical, we're not sure if there's anything with the conduits or running in the ground that we might unfortunately find. We just want to make sure we have a little nest egg built in so we can adapt or adjust as needed for that. I can answer any questions that the board has in regards to this project at this time.
May I have a motion to accept the bid from Halloran and Yelk, LLC of Lake Forest, Illinois, for a not to exceed cost of $74,539.50.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
It's a roll call vote.
Commissioner James?
As long as I can parenthetically add that they installed my irrigation system and continue to provide service at my house. And they're great people to work with, so yeah, they have my vote.
Commissioner Rath?
Yes.
Commissioner Root?
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hemmings?
Yes.
Commissioner Koto?
Yes.
That motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 6.4, for a change of pace. Jim, we're moving to you. Budget adjustment to support comprehensive master plan project.
Commissioner Koto, thank you. In 2023, we put together a 2024 budget that built in some funding for the comprehensive master plan at the direction of the board here. The board had the foresight to get started the ball rolling on this. We did not, however, put in enough for this particular project. We received a number of bids. We sat down, we even saw presentations from the bidders, and the costs came in a little higher than we anticipated. Originally, the thought was we would fund half of it in 24 and the rest in 2025. But as these bids came in, we thought it was safer to have all the money available in 2024, so it was encumbered and ready to go to avoid any potential vagaries of the economic, situations so we are asking for the board to approve us to go into our reserves in the general fund for an additional $150,000 for the full funding of the comprehensive master plan. The general fund currently has an unrestricted reserve balance of over $3 million, so this will not significantly impact the reserves in the general fund. We are well funded in that respect. I believe that this is what's what I'm looking for. I guess thoughtful use of our reserves. Are there any questions?
None for me. Thank you. Orin?
So we budgeted 50,000, and you want to increase it to 200,000.
That's correct, yes.
And we're a landlocked community with 26 different parks. We've improved many of these recently. I'm in full support of a comprehensive strategic plan, but I'm stunned at the expenditure of $200,000 to do it. Do we have any other benchmarks of nearby communities that have recently completed similar endeavors and cost?
The costs, and we can get into the bids that we got in the next item when we get to that point, but I would say that this is kind of the standard rate in the area.
I disagree.
Okay.
Cynthia?
I was a squeaky wheel to put this on the budget, and I referenced at that time that Glencoe spent $200,000 on their similar plan that they are now using to pursue a referendum to fund a bunch of projects. And in that memo, they had a huge justification around, having this plan over the last 10 years enabled us to get loads of grant money. I'm happy to serve the memo. I can hold up, share it, but it was pretty compelling. And I think Wilmette was like $221,000. It was around a similar cost. So
And Highland Park, twice the size, 120,000
one of theirs.
recently.
I thought they were just coming to an end, but.
And this project is different than a strategic plan. It is a comprehensive master plan, which is a longer over time project. It also has more requirements that we are looking for than what would be in a strategic plan. It includes a level of service analysis. It includes a needs assessment. It includes trends analysis. It includes a statistically valid survey, which we will bring to the board for approval if that's necessary. It includes focus groups with the community. It includes a lot of things also that lead into working towards accreditation, both with the state and nationally, which ties into those costs for the project.
Just as a point of reference, our last needs assessment, which is generally considered to be an every 5-year process, was in 2016. We were on target to go ahead and do that, and then COVID hit. Our strategic planning process was similarly sidelined as a function of COVID. I think this is an excellent opportunity to expand beyond a needs assessment, beyond a strategic plan, and do some of the customer metrics that Commissioner Rapp has requested on a regular basis. And I think it's a good chance for us to take a good hard look at all of our services, all of our programming in a comprehensive way. I'm also very much focused on eventual accreditation. So I think this is the path. It will not all be spent in 1 year. It's a 1-year process?
It's a 1-year project, so it would, the contract would be paid out by tasks on percentage through the course of the project as they would complete specific tasks. period of time that leads into a strategic plan. So you really can't have a strategic plan until you have a comprehensive master plan for the community. And that's where we had a lot of the pieces and parts with the 2016 needs assessment and the strategic plan. So we had some of the pieces and parts, but it wasn't all coincided together to make sure it was one cohesive document that was able to be utilized. Because the idea is once you have the comprehensive master plan, which is about probably a 10-year plan, then you have a strategic plan that goes, that is created from that. So the master plan, the comprehensive master plan creates recommendations on goals for the agency. The strategic plan takes those goals and objectives are tied into those goals. So then from the strategic plan, then you are looking at implementation of those objectives on a year-to-year basis and being able to update where you are year over year on achieving those objectives and meeting those goals in the overall comprehensive master plan.
Are there any other comments? Warren, say a comment. Jeff, do you have anything? No. Okay. James?
Warren, is the basis for your determination that this is too much, the amount of money that Highland Park paid for a strategic plan?
No, it's the fact that we budgeted 50,000. How could we be so far off?
Hold on a second. Shannon made the statement that this is the going rate, and you said you disagreed.
Yeah.
What is the basis for your disagreement that it's the going rate?
Highland Park, I take her comments at face value, distinction between a strategic plan and a comp plan. I take that, I accept that, and I'm fully supportive of the statistically valid survey. Very supportive of that. I think we do need to reach out to the community, but get statistically valid information. But I caution that too often we've seen these plans just get prepared, sit on a shelf, and nothing gets done. I remind you, this is Winnetka, Illinois.
Okay. I asked a question. I'd like to just get an answer. Is there a basis for you to contend that that's the going rate? That's what I'm asking.
No, I mistook the strategic plan for a comprehensive plan.
And your issue is, should we do a comprehensive plan at all, or what's the issue that you're now raising?
Well, I think we should have some further discussion rather than increasing our budget from 50 to 200 and picking a horse.
Okay.
Commissioner, if I could, and this is my understanding coming in at probably the 13th hour, when this was all discussed during the 2023 budget, or 2024 budget process. And my understanding, and feel free to correct me if I am misspeaking, because this is just going off of what, the meetings and everything that I was watching at the time, is that the 50,000 was a just get started, and then in the next fiscal year, it was planned to have additional money set aside in 2025 to continue the project.
Yes. And you might want to speak to that. I'll just say, we started with the idea that we would do a strategic plan that would be conducted over a 12-month period, that we would probably take time to select the provider, and then phase in the cost.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
So we knew it was going to take time. When we were putting the budget together at the end of the budget process, we all found out that the former executive director was going to be leaving. We knew it was going to take time to find a new executive director, put together an RFP, go out, receive the proposals, select somebody. We knew we weren't going to be able to get it all done in 2024. So the thought was we budget seed money, if you will, or at least something to get the ball rolling in 2024, knowing we would have the budget for the remaining costs in 2025. What we're doing now is moving that cost forward into 2024 and having money encumbered so that we don't have to build it into the 2025 budget. We can spend the money over the next 12 months.
And the scope was expanded from a strategic plan to a comprehensive.
Correct.
With a view to accreditation.
And I would also like to add, I've spoken to our auditors about this, and they said that it is allowable to do this. We can move the money into 2024 and continue to spend it into 2025 as long as we know that in next year's audit. So we are not violating any rules in that respect.
And what I would mention too is that the idea would be that we utilize the consultant to create the comprehensive master plan and collect all the data and all of the information, and then we can internally work through a strategic plan at no additional cost other than staff time to the park district.
Cynthia, did you have questions? Colleen, did you have questions?
I just want to applaud park staff for working on this. I'm all about customer statistically valid customer input. I think it's wonderful that this can be used for us to, again, look for grants. We have a history in this district of receiving grants, and that has been dormant for several years. And then finally, of course, reaccreditation. That's why we were so excited to have you come, because we saw you as the opportunity of moving forward to secure that reaccreditation. So I want to thank you.
May I have a motion to approve a budget adjustment of $149,570 from general fund reserves to general fund contracted services for the sole purpose of completing a comprehensive master plan project with a completion date in 2025. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Jeff. Any additional discussion? Denise, that's a roll call vote.
Commissioner Rapp?
Yes.
Commissioner Root?
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hemmings?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Koto?
Yes.
That motion passes.
Excellent. Item 6.5, the comprehensive master plan project award recommendation.
Okay, so this is the meat and potatoes of the conversation that we just had. So we went out for RFP on May 16th of this year, and the advertisement appeared in the Tribune local newspaper and on the Park District's website, where we solicited bids for the contract, and we received 4 bids. There were 2 parts of the bids that we received. We received a technical bid packet as well as a pricing proposal, which were given to us separately and opened separately on different dates. The way we went through the process was we reviewed the technical specifications initially. Then we took the top 3 in those evaluations by our staff committee for those technical proposals, and we invited those individuals for an in-person 1-hour interview in which we then looked at and heard their presentation on what they were going to be able to offer us within their scope. And from there, we opened the pricing proposals for those as well. As far as the bid tabulations, those are within the agenda packet themselves. And we, as far as after all the bids were reviewed, Barry Dunn McNeil and Parker, came out on top as far as the recommendation for the committee. They have the experience, and they have, the selection team felt they were most qualified to produce the work product that we were looking for, along with their subcontractors that they listed within their proposal that they would be using. They have a specific financial manager that is on the team, which was very important to our decision too, to look at our how we're looking at our finances, our revenues, and those types of things. So we felt that was a very important aspect to look at, in addition to who they were using for their survey company who would do that statistically valid survey, which is ETC. And so we are making a recommendation to award the contract to Barry Dunn in the amount that they set forth in their proposal. Will answer any questions?
Could you start speaking up? You guys are.
Jeff, do you have any questions?
So Shannon, I saw it noted you have worked with Barry and Dunn in the past.
Correct.
Obviously how much of that, obviously it was an independent, I saw there were a number of individuals involved in the decision. I would assume that your experience in the past, give them a thumbs up after that.
Yeah, so when we, I don't know if my mic is working.
It's better.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so I have worked with Barry Dunn in the past. When I worked with them in the past, it was a different company called Greenplay that merged with Barry Dunn, actually right in the middle of one of the projects that I was working on with another agency. So I do have experience with the organization, and they have been great to work with as far as the entire committee that was a part of the process. That did not come into the conversation. We did not talk about my experience with those agencies while they were doing the vote, while they were doing the interview, or anything like that. So it was very much the opinion of everybody on that committee of who was who we felt were best to do the job. And then I would also mention too that the principal and the team that would be working on this project, I have not worked with directly.
I saw that. Thank you.
James? Warren?
ETC, they're pretty much the only game in town, the survey stuff.
There was one other company that one of the other bidders had on that as well.
Yeah, but they're qualified.
They are, yes, absolutely.
Hitchcock Design, fine firm, very capable.
Yes.
Williams.
We felt that they had a great team put together for the project.
Cynthia?
First, I do want to commend our executive director for doing a thorough and responsive search and working with staff to vet the vendors. It was obviously a lot of work, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you sharing all the information, the proposals. I asked a lot of my questions of our executive director ahead of time, and they've been circulated in email to everyone. I have a question for our board to consider, and that is related to a point that Warren made about how in 2017, the Park District did do a strategic plan, and it was not fully implemented. And to me, that fell a little bit on the board for not pushing ahead with, and fell a lot on the board for not pushing ahead with the implementation of the strategic plan that we had done. And I think that the value and the way that we, get our return on this significant investment is directly related to the commitment of the board and the staff to, create the plan, be honest in their, feedback, and go through the process with fidelity. And, we might be surprised with some of the results. We might find things that we don't agree with. We might have our own opinions. And I think that in order to have kind of a successful result and have the buy-in of the community and to be able to move forward positively as a community, that we need to be fully committed and ready for that. And so I just want to make sure that as a board we are prepared to do that, because each of us have different networks in the community. Some of us do really like passive green space. Some of us really like coffee. Some of us, really feel passionately about the lakefront. And we're going to have a lot to balance with this comprehensive plan. We're going to get a lot of input from the community, and I think it's really important that we are, not favoring one group of friends over another, that we're kind of listening with open minds and going in and working objectively and making decisions based on, data and fact and judgment and numbers, and doing the best that we can with that. I know, as an example, we have this feasibility study going on right now. Is that
influencing the plan? Was that just set in motion beforehand? I just want to make sure that if we go ahead with this, that people are, moving forward openly and thoughtfully. And, it shouldn't be a box check for accreditation. I mean, we should end up with a living and breathing document that we feel good about. And I think that other communities that have successfully implemented these plans, it has reduced a lot of the, conflict and angst in the community because it's something that people can understand. I anticipate with this plan, everyone is going to want something. People are going to want pools, pickleball, hockey, restaurants, Thankfully, we've already done the golf course, so that's not going to be recognized as a gap. I'm expecting a very good score on that facility for the most part. But, I just want to make sure that as a board, that we are fully committed to moving forward down this path in that way. I mean, we've spent a lot of time to find, a really talented executive director, and I think that we really need to be going in as a board to support our leadership and set them up for success by translating the needs of the community, but we also need to be open to challenging ourselves, because some of the results are not going to come in with the exact program that any one of us wants. And, we need to be committed to getting to a point and compromising, and, it's a good and beautiful thing when you have a plan that everyone can support. And I know with the Lakefront Master Plan, people worked really hard, and then they went around the room, and one board member was like, no, and, had to go think through some of the ADA components of it. So it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable for us, I think, but I think it's an important thing to do, and I've certainly advocated for it, but I just want to make sure that as a board and as a staff that we're committed to, doing it with fidelity and integrity and really implementing so that we don't end up like we did in 2017.
I share Commissioner Rapp's thoughts here, and I hope that this is a total reset, that we're starting from the beginning to see what our community really wants. I'm still troubled by this contract that was signed with Green and Associates without any board knowledge last May for a feasibility study for either expansion or an additional piece of ice. So I hope that we are tabling that as we go out and ask our community, what do you want to do with the limited space that we have? And that we put our own personal agendas aside and really look at what our customer base wants. And again, I want to thank you for taking the time and the labor and effort to start this process.
I would like to have a motion to award the lump sum contract to Barry Dunn McNeil and Parker LLC for the Comprehensive Master Plan project.
So,
May I have a second?
Second.
It's a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Root?
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hemmings?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rapp?
Yes.
Commissioner Kodo?
Yes.
That motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 7, the Executive Director's Report.
As always, the weekly status reports are attached to the agenda packet as well as the legal expenses, and I'll answer any questions you have.
Any questions for Commissioner Gonzalez?
I read with interest in your last report that staff, along with Commissioners Kodo and James, met with the Parks Committee of caucus. And so I wondered if you might just give us a highlight of that meeting, what the interest of caucus was, more or less just kind of the highlights of that session.
The Parks Committee chair reached out to us to get some more information on the lakefront projects, and we gave them the information that we have to date in regards to the permit process, the plans as they are now.
If I may, it's my understanding of caucus that caucus is to be a neutral and independent body. And so I was delighted to hear that they had reached out to staff. I was somewhat concerned that we had 2 elected officials that sat in and were part of that, I hope that you did not do presentations, but rather you were there to answer questions, and I hope staff did the presentation. That's a question.
So I would say from staff's perspective, so the park committee chair, Alex Ross, requested of President Cotto and myself, along with anyone else that was deemed appropriate for the conversation, to be a part of that meeting. And with policy rules in regards to Open Meetings Act and everything, it can only be 2 commissioners. So that's what was allocated for that particular meeting. And so from that perspective, when we did have that conversation, we went over the project again, as we have submitted to the village and what that status was, answered questions as in regards to those applications as well.
Their questions were very specific with regard to the elements. We have one subject matter expert and board member, and we have one subject matter expert and staff, and both of those were selected to accompany them. They asked for me, although I do not have this subject matter expertise. I was able to provide some history in response to their questions.
And I believe you are the caucus liaison. Am I correct
Yes.
on that?
Yes, they will reach out to me and I will direct. Yeah,
Thank you.
yes, thank you. Okay, if there are no other additional questions for the executive director, we can move on to commissioner comments. Okay, Jeff Tyson.
So I had the opportunity to work again with some volunteers on the Green Bay Trail a couple times since I was at the last board meeting. So I just want to put out there, if anybody else would like to volunteer their time, we usually meet up on Wednesday mornings, every other Wednesday, from 8 a.m. until about 10 a.m. And as long as the weather cooperates, the slopes can get very slippery if we've had a lot of rain. So, the other thing I want to bring up is the Friends of the Green Bay Trail are hosting a Green Bay Trail Day on Saturday, July 27th from 8 a.m. to noon. It's going to be held on a trail between Hubbard Woods and Shelton Park in Glencoe. And there's going to be food, music, and activities. If you want more information, the Green Bay Trail does have a website. That's where I was able to pick off this information. So, that's it.
Thank you very much. Well under the 3 minutes. Fair enough. James?
I have nothing to add.
Warren?
In a few weeks, we are going to reopen the golf course. I would describe it as the high water mark, if you will, of intergovernmental cooperation. And just a few stats. The Winnetka Park District accounts for 45% of the total storage provided. Cook County Forest Reserve about 47%. Within that number, there's 56 acre-feet of storage on the new golf course. So for those living in southwest Winnetka who do not flood, it's a function of intergovernmental cooperation led by Chris Rentz. Chris did a remarkable job shepherding this project and bringing it to fruition. He deserves a great deal of credit. I'm disappointed to add that Chris, in the most recent board meeting, said that he took a new job and he is pretty much resigned to the fact that the post office plan will not be moving forward under his guidance. They had a response of 4 out of 8 respondents, and the Gang Studios withdrew their proposal, so I think Chris was pretty dejected by that, and I can sense his disappointment and resignation. It's unfortunate. This is a difficult town to get things done. Anything done. 10 years ago, I was asked to serve on the Lakefront Advisory Committee. 10 years ago. We worked together, a very diverse, everything you just described about a diverse group of people coming together to assess their needs We received $100,000+ in grants to fund that study, and we've moved smartly through implementation up until Elder and Centennial. And then it got sidetracked. We got sidetracked in large part by the same people that have sidetracked One Winnetka and the post office plan. And I, for one, have a very difficult time committing 10 years of time and energy listening, responding, adapting to come up empty-handed. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to continue to persist to see that we can implement a thoughtful and a reasonable plan for Elder and Centennial. And I'm going to request that the village of Winnetka recognize the 2 caucus plans. One, to advance this plan. That was agreed upon last year by the caucus. 2, intergovernmental cooperation. This permit process is taking far too long. It is, in my opinion, purposeful to delay the implementation of Elder and Centennial. It's an approved plan. We deserve a hearing before the boards. 3 minutes.
Thank you. Nicely done. Cynthia?
I just wanted to say that Jeff and I spent some time at the farmers market. It was always a delight. I want to recognize the staff preparation and organization to make that successful. And it is really beneficial to be able to connect with the community on a range of topics, whatever's on their mind. And I think that's really helpful. And there's still plenty of markets left, so hopefully we'll continue to expand our reach. But I definitely wanted to recognize staff for their community presence, including the farmers market, and popping up on every street corner around town at pretty much every event. So thank you.
I have a question for our council. I was somewhat confused by Ms. Mazel's comments tonight, and so I spent some time during the meeting doing a little research. Mr. Simon, do you serve as park council for Highland Park District?
Yes, Ansel Glink is the Park District Attorney for the Park District of Highland Park.
But are you personally the one who is providing this guidance for Highland Park?
I'm part of the team, yes.
And do I understand that Cal Bernstein, Mr. Ishbia's attorney, who was very instrumental in this donation agreement and restricted covenant, is president of the Highland Park Board?
This year, he is the president of the Board of Park Commissioners in Highland Park.
Then one final question I have is, did you bring to the attention of any members of this board the possibility that you could have representation that might be adverse to the interests of Winnetka residents in this community as it reflected with respect to this donation agreement and restrictive covenant?
A couple of comments. First, Mr. Bernstein had no interaction on the negotiation of the donation agreement. He did not participate in any of the negotiations that I had with Mr. Ishbia's counsel. So he was not involved in that at all. So that's a fact. 2, Mr. Bernstein is not a personal client of mine. Our client in Highland Park is the Park District of Highland Park and the board as a whole. So I owe no duty of loyalty to Mr. Bernstein personally. Just as much as in Winnetka, my duty is to the board and the Park District as a whole. So I find there to be no conflict of interest, no mixed loyalty, no mixed obligation insofar as Mr. Bernstein serves as one of Mr. Ishbia's counsel, while he also serves as a member of the Board of Commissioners in Highland Park.
I'll just make a concluding comment. Throughout the negotiations of this donation agreement and restricted covenant, it was my personal observation that Cal Bernstein was in our gallery and present every single meeting, and that he certainly was there at the time that this donation agreement was voted and accepted during our January board meeting. Thank you.
Okay. I just wanted to give Adam Simon a vote of confidence. I have full faith in his objectivity and his ability to manage in our best interests here at the Winnetka Park District. I will be at the farmers market this weekend. I will be there from 7:30 until 12. I would welcome another commissioner. And with that, I am finished with my comments. May I have a motion to go into closed session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/section 2C5 for the purchase or lease of property, and 5 ILCS 120/2C6 for the setting of a price for sale or lease of property, and 5 ILCS 120/2C11 for litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, and 5 ILCS 120/2C21 semi-annual review of closed session minutes. Thank you. Second, thank you. That's a roll call vote.
Commissioner Tyson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hemmings?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rapp? Yes. Commissioner Root? Yes. Commissioner Koto?
Yes.
That motion passes.
Give
I'm
me-
going down and trying to make
Give me
sure.
like 1 minute just to make
Okay.
sure the feed comes back.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah, we,
I, what's the screen, if you need that screen.
That's okay. Minute or so lag on the screen.
We are now back in the regular meeting at 8:35, and all commissioners are still present. Item 10.1, consideration of resolution 2024-7-18-01. May I have a motion to adopt resolution 2024-07-18-01, a resolution confirming that the board has reviewed closed session minutes and determined to release the following minutes. November 4th, 2021, June 16th, 2022, September 13th, 2023, October 19th, 2023, November 10th, 2023, November 11th, 2023, December 5th, 2023, December 14th, 2023.
So moved.
Second?
second.
That's a roll call vote.
Commissioner Hemmings,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Commissioner Rapp,
Yes.
Commissioner Root,
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson,
Yes.
Commissioner Koto,
Yes.
that motion passes.
Thank you. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.